stop everything you're doing right now. Because what I'm about to tell you will either save your life or you'll ignore it and spend the next 10 years wondering why the people you trusted most became the ones who hurt you deepest. 3 days ago, I watched a man explain for 20 minutes why his business partner of 15 years deserved one more chance after stealing half their company. That man had given everything: his time, his money, his trust, his loyalty. And his partner? His partner saw that loyalty and knew exactly how to weaponize it. This isn't a story about bad luck. This isn't about choosing the wrong people. This is about a fundamental truth that Machiavelli discovered 500 years ago. A truth so disturbing that most people will refuse to accept it even as it destroys their lives. Loyalty doesn't protect you from betrayal. Loyalty invites betrayal. The more loyal you are, the bigger the target on your back becomes. And today, you're going to discover exactly why this happens and what you can do about it before it's too late. Let me ask you something. Think about the last time someone betrayed you. Really betrayed you. Not a small disappointment, but a knife in the back. World-shattering betrayal. Now think about your relationship with that person before the betrayal happened. Were you loyal to them? Did you trust them completely? Did you go out of your way to help them, support them, defend them? Of course you did. That's exactly why they were able to betray you so effectively. Here's what nobody wants to tell you. Betrayal doesn't happen randomly. It follows patterns. It targets specific types of people. And the number one trait that makes someone a perfect target for betrayal? Unwavering loyalty. Think about it. Who can hurt you more? A stranger or someone you trust completely? Who has access to your vulnerabilities, your weaknesses, your secrets? The people you've been loyal to. Who knows exactly which buttons to push to manipulate you? The people who've watched you demonstrate your loyalty over and over again. Loyal people make terrible gamblers but excellent victims. Because loyalty is predictable. When you're loyal, people know exactly how you'll react in any situation. They know you'll forgive. They know you'll make excuses for them. They know you'll prioritize the relationship over your own interests. They know you'll give them chance after chance after chance. And that predictability, that's not a virtue. That's a vulnerability that smart people exploit and ruthless people weaponize. The cruel mathematics of human nature work like this. The more loyal you are to someone, the more power you give them to destroy you. The more you trust, the more damage betrayal can do. The more you invest emotionally, the bigger the return on investment for anyone who decides to cash out at your expense. You've been taught that loyalty is noble, that trust is beautiful, that dedication is admirable. You've been taught wrong. Those traits aren't shields, they're targets painted on your back. Niccolò Machiavelli watched this pattern play out across Renaissance Italy. He saw loyal advisors betrayed by the princes they served. He witnessed faithful allies abandoned the moment they were no longer useful. He documented how the most dedicated supporters often became the first casualties when power dynamics shifted. And he wrote something that scandalized his era and still makes people uncomfortable today. Men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived. He wasn't being cynical. He was being accurate. Machiavelli understood something that most people spend their entire lives refusing to accept. Human beings don't betray people they fear. They betray people they know won't retaliate effectively. They don't exploit people who might fight back. They exploit people whose loyalty makes them safe to exploit. Your loyalty signals to potential betrayers that you're a low-risk, high-reward target. In The Prince, Machiavelli wrote, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved." Why? Because love, loyalty, and trust make you dependent on other people's goodness. Fear makes other people dependent on your strength. Loyal people wait for others to be worthy of their loyalty. Feared people make others prove they're worth trusting before giving anything away. Guess which strategy protects you better? But here's what Machiavelli really understood, and this is the part that will change everything for you. Betrayal isn't personal, it's mathematical. People don't betray you because you're bad. They betray you because you made betrayal profitable and safe. They calculated the risks and rewards, and your loyalty made the calculation obvious. Low risk of consequences, high reward of taking advantage, guaranteed forgiveness if caught. That's not a relationship. That's an open invitation to exploitation. Now let me reveal the brutal truths about why your loyalty makes you a target, and what you need to understand to protect yourself. Loyalty without boundaries is self-destruction disguised as virtue. Real loyalty has limits. Strategic loyalty has conditions. Unconditional loyalty? That's just volunteering to be someone's doormat while calling it friendship. Think about the people who've betrayed you. Did you have clear boundaries with them? Did you ever say no? Did you ever make them face consequences for smaller violations before the big betrayal happened? Of course not, because you thought setting boundaries would damage the relationship. But here's the truth. Relationships without boundaries aren't relationships. They're exploitation agreements where one person takes and the other person rationalizes why that's okay. Machiavelli observed, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." What he meant is this: people will promise you anything when they need something from you. Those promises mean nothing when circumstances change. Your unconditional loyalty to their promises makes you predictable, manipulable, and ultimately disposable. The moment your loyalty costs them something or limits their options, your loyalty becomes inconvenient, and inconvenient people get betrayed. Let me give you a practical example. You have a friend who constantly cancels plans last minute. You stay loyal. You understand. You make excuses for them. You value the friendship. What you're actually doing is teaching them that your time has no value, and that disrespecting you has no consequences. So they escalate, they cancel more often, they commit to things they know they won't follow through on, and eventually when you really need them, they won't be there. Not because they're evil, but because you trained them that being unreliable works with you. Boundaries aren't walls, boundaries are standards. They're the price of admission to your life. When you have no boundaries in the name of loyalty, you're not being a good friend. You're being an easy target. The most loyal person in any relationship is usually the person getting exploited, because their loyalty is free. It costs nothing to receive, and everything to give. And anything available for free eventually gets treated as worthless. Your loyalty signals weakness, not strength. Here's what loyal people believe. My loyalty proves I'm strong, reliable, and committed. Here's what everyone else sees. This person can be controlled through their loyalty. They're emotionally invested. They're not going anywhere. I can do whatever I want and they'll stay. That's not respect. That's recognition of vulnerability. Your loyalty is a handle that others use to steer you wherever they want you to go. When you demonstrate extreme loyalty to someone, what are you actually communicating? You're communicating that maintaining this relationship matters more to you than your own boundaries, your own needs, your own self-respect. You're communicating that you're not a flight risk. You're communicating that you've invested so much that you can't afford to walk away. This is exactly what predatory people look for. They don't want relationships with people who might leave. They want relationships with people who are trapped by their own loyalty. Machiavelli wrote, "A man who wishes to act entirely up to his professions of virtue soon meets with what is ruinous among so many who are not good." Translate that to modern language. If you insist on being completely loyal in a world where most people are strategically loyal, you will be destroyed by those who see your loyalty as exploitable. Your commitment to being loyal becomes the very tool others use to betray you. I've watched this pattern destroy people. The employee who shows unconditional loyalty to their company gets laid off the moment profits dip. The friend who's always there for everyone gets forgotten the moment they need help. The partner who sacrifices everything for the relationship gets left the moment someone more exciting appears. Why? Because their loyalty made them safe to discard. There were no consequences for taking advantage of them before, so there won't be consequences for abandoning them now. The bitter truth is that people don't betray those they fear might retaliate. They betray those they know will forgive them, make excuses for them, or at worst just quietly fade away while still believing the relationship was real. Your loyalty removes the fear of consequences. Without fear of consequences, betrayal becomes mathematics. Does betraying this person benefit me more than staying loyal to them? If yes, betrayal happens. Your loyalty made that calculation easy. Loyal people attract users like blood attracts sharks. There's a certain type of person who has a radar for loyal people. They can spot you across a crowded room. They know exactly what to say to activate your loyalty instincts. They understand which stories to tell, which vulnerabilities to share, which needs to express, and they use your loyalty like a weapon against your own interests. You think you're building a friendship. They know they're building a resource they can exploit. These people aren't necessarily evil. They're efficient. They've learned that loyal people provide maximum benefit for minimum investment. Tell a loyal person you value them, and they'll move mountains for you. Make a loyal person feel needed, and they'll sacrifice their own needs to meet yours. Make a loyal person feel like they're part of something special, and they'll defend you even when you're wrong. This isn't friendship. This is exploitation with better marketing. Machiavelli understood this dynamic perfectly. He watched loyal supporters get used up and discarded by the powerful people they served. He saw that loyalty wasn't rewarded. It was exploited until it was no longer useful. The people who thrived weren't the most loyal. They were the most strategic about when and to whom they showed loyalty. They made their loyalty conditional, valuable, and difficult to secure. That made their loyalty worth something. Your unconditional loyalty? That's worth nothing because it costs nothing to receive. Here's how you know if you're attracting users. Do people show up in your life mainly when they need something? Do your relationships feel balanced or one-sided? When was the last time someone you've been loyal to inconvenienced themselves significantly for you? If you're always the giver and rarely the receiver, you're not in relationships with people. You're in relationships with resource extraction operations. They're mining your loyalty for personal benefit and calling it friendship while they do it. The most dangerous part about attracting users is that they're really good at making you feel special. They tell you how rare you are, how trustworthy, how different from everyone else. They make you feel like your loyalty is appreciated. But watch what they do, not what they say. Do they respect your time? Do they honor your boundaries? Do they show up when you need them? Or do they only appear when they need something, shower you with appreciation to reactivate your loyalty, then disappear again until the next time they need to make a withdrawal from the bank of your goodwill? Forgiveness without change enables betrayal. Loyal people forgive constantly. Someone wrongs you, apologizes, and you forgive them because you value the relationship. You give second chances, third chances, infinite chances. You think you're being compassionate. What you're actually doing is training people that betraying you is risk-free. Apologize, get forgiven, face no real consequences. Repeat, this isn't forgiveness. This is permission to keep betraying you with a brief pause for theatrical remorse in between. Machiavelli observed that mercy without strength is weakness that invites exploitation. Forgiveness is powerful when it comes with changed behavior and enforced consequences. Forgiveness without those things is just naive permission for the behavior to continue. You forgive the friend who betrayed your trust. They promise to change. Nothing changes. You forgive them again. They promise harder this time. Still nothing changes. You forgive them again because that's what loyal people do. What's actually happening? You're teaching them that your forgiveness is cheap, your boundaries are negotiable, and your loyalty can be exploited indefinitely, with minimal effort at damage control. Real forgiveness requires real change. Without change, forgiveness is just you accepting that this person will keep hurting you, and deciding you're okay with that. That's not virtue. That's self-destruction. The loyal person thinks forgiving someone multiple times for the same betrayal proves their commitment to the relationship. The betrayer knows it proves you won't actually do anything about their behavior, so they can continue that behavior with minor adjustments to their apology performance each time. Here's what strategically loyal people understand that unconditionally loyal people don't. Forgiveness doesn't mean trust gets automatically restored. Trust is earned through changed behavior over time. You can forgive someone for betraying you while simultaneously removing their access to betray you again. Forgiveness is about releasing resentment. It's not about giving someone unlimited opportunities to hurt you while calling that enlightenment. Every time you forgive without requiring change, you make the next betrayal more likely and more severe. Loyalty should be earned, not given freely. This is where most loyal people mess up their entire lives. You give loyalty first and hope it gets reciprocated. You trust until given a reason not to. You open up, invest emotionally, and make yourself vulnerable as an act of good faith. This isn't noble. This is strategic incompetence. You're giving away your most valuable assets, your trust, your time, your emotional investment to people who haven't proven they deserve them. That's not building relationships. That's giving strangers the keys to your house and hoping they don't rob you. Machiavelli was very clear about this. It is necessary for a prince to have the people friendly, otherwise he has no remedy in adversity. But notice what he didn't say. He didn't say give the people everything they want and hope they remain friendly. He said make them friendly through strategic actions that serve mutual interests. Loyalty built on strategic mutual benefit lasts. Loyalty built on one person's unconditional giving ends the moment the taker finds a better deal. Think about how you develop loyalty in your relationships. Do you wait for people to demonstrate they're trustworthy before trusting them? Do you observe whether they respect small boundaries before sharing your deepest vulnerabilities? Do you test whether they show up in small ways before expecting them to show up in big ways? Or do you give everything up front because you want to believe people are good and relationships should be based on trust? If it's the latter, you're not building genuine relationships. You're creating opportunities for people to take advantage of your good nature. Strategic loyalty works like this. I'll show you I'm reliable in small things. You show me you're reliable in small things. We gradually increase investment based on demonstrated trustworthiness. Mutual loyalty develops through mutual proof, not through one person's blind faith. This isn't cynical. This is intelligent. You wouldn't invest your entire life savings with a financial advisor you just met. Why would you invest your entire emotional life with people who haven't proven they'll protect that investment? The most successful relationships aren't built on unconditional trust. They're built on conditional trust that becomes unconditional through consistent demonstration of trustworthiness over time. Your loyalty should be the prize people work toward, not the participation trophy you hand out to anyone who asks for it. When loyalty is earned, it has value. When loyalty is free, it gets treated as disposable. People betray when loyalty becomes inconvenient. Most people aren't loyal to you. They're loyal to what you provide. The relationship, the friendship, the partnership, these are all transactional at their core. When the transaction stops benefiting them, their loyalty evaporates. Your problem is that you're loyal to the person. They're loyal to the benefits. The moment you stop providing benefits or someone else provides better benefits, you discover how conditional their loyalty always was. Machiavelli wrote about this extensively. He watched allies abandon each other the moment political winds shifted. He documented how promises made in prosperity became forgotten inconveniences in adversity. He understood that most human loyalty is contingent on circumstances. Only a rare few remain loyal when loyalty costs them something. Your unconditional loyalty makes you one of those rare few. But the people you're loyal to, they're part of the majority who stay loyal only when it's convenient. Think about the relationships where you've been betrayed. What changed right before the betrayal? Did you stop being useful? Did you set a boundary they didn't like? Did you need something from them instead of just giving? Did a better opportunity appear for them? The betrayal probably happened because your relationship became inconvenient. Maybe you needed support instead of providing it. Maybe enforcing your boundaries conflicted with their desires. Maybe being loyal to you cost them something they weren't willing to pay. The painful reality is that most people view relationships through a cost-benefit analysis they'd never admit to doing. As long as the benefits outweigh the costs, they stay loyal. The moment that equation flips, their loyalty becomes negotiable. Your unconditional loyalty means you stay even when costs exceed benefits. Their conditional loyalty means they leave the moment the deal isn't optimal anymore. This is why loyal people always seem surprised by betrayal. You assumed they were calculating loyalty the same way you were. They weren't. They were calculating utility. And when your utility decreased or someone else's increased, the math changed. Emotional investment creates manipulation leverage. Every piece of your emotional investment in someone else is a piece of leverage they can use against you. Every vulnerability you share is potential ammunition. Every time you demonstrate how much you care, you're showing them exactly which buttons to push to control you. Loyal people think emotional investment builds bonds. Manipulative people know emotional investment creates control points. This is why betrayal from people you're loyal to hurts so much more than betrayal from acquaintances. You gave them the instruction manual on how to hurt you. You showed them your fears, your insecurities, your hopes, your boundaries. You did this because you trusted them. They filed that information away, not necessarily with malicious intent, but when the time came to betray you, they knew exactly how to do maximum damage with minimum effort, because you'd already mapped out your vulnerability landscape for them. Machiavelli understood that information asymmetry is power. The person who reveals less while learning more has strategic advantage. Your loyalty drives you to be an open book. You share freely because you want genuine connection. But in a world where most people are strategically closed books, being an open book just means everyone can read your weaknesses while you can't read theirs. That's not connection. That's strategic disadvantage. Watch what happens when you're completely emotionally invested in someone, and they know it. They can push boundaries because they know you won't leave. They can make requests they know you'll have trouble refusing. They can manipulate your emotions because they know which emotions to target. Your loyalty created their leverage. The more loyal you are, the more emotional investment you make, the more control you give them over your decisions, your feelings, your life. This is why the people who betray you most devastatingly are the people you were most loyal to. They had the most leverage. Loyalty is mistaken for weakness, not strength. You think your loyalty demonstrates strength of character. Other people think it demonstrates exploitability. You see unwavering commitment. They see someone who won't fight back. You see dedication. They see someone who's trapped by their own emotional investment. This perception gap is why loyal people consistently get treated worse than they deserve. The very trait you think should earn respect actually signals that disrespecting you is safe. Machiavelli noted that appearing virtuous is useful, but being so virtuous that you can't be pragmatic is dangerous. When people see you as unfailingly loyal, they don't respect your virtue. They calculate how to benefit from it. The business partner who knows you'd never abandon the company uses that knowledge to take risks with company resources that primarily benefit him. The friend who knows you'll always forgive uses that knowledge to prioritize their needs over yours consistently. The family member who knows you value family above everything uses that knowledge to make demands they'd never make of someone whose loyalty isn't guaranteed. Here's what actually earns respect: strategic loyalty that can be withdrawn. When people know you're loyal but you might leave if they cross certain lines, they respect those lines. When people know your loyalty is unconditional, they test how far they can push without consequences. This is basic human psychology. We respect boundaries that are enforced. We ignore boundaries that are flexible. Your unconditional loyalty is a boundary that says you can do whatever you want and I won't leave. That's not a boundary. That's an invitation to see how much they can get away with. The strongest position isn't unconditional loyalty or suspicious distrust. It's conditional loyalty that must be maintained through mutual respect and demonstrated trustworthiness. That kind of loyalty has power because it can be lost. Your loyalty that can never be lost has no power because there are no stakes. People don't value what they can't lose. Betrayal is often premeditated, not impulsive. Most betrayals aren't sudden decisions. They're calculated choices that were planned while the betrayer was still pretending to be loyal to you. That business partner who stole from you? He was planning it for months while smiling at you every day. That friend who spread your secrets? She decided to do it long before the conversation where she did it. That partner who cheated? They were cultivating that other relationship while telling you they loved you. Betrayal isn't usually an impulsive mistake. It's a strategic decision made by someone who weighed the benefits against the risks and decided betraying you was their best move. This is what makes betrayal so devastating for loyal people. You thought the relationship was real up until the moment of betrayal. It wasn't. The relationship stopped being real whenever they started planning to betray you. Everything after that was performance. Every smile, every "I appreciate you," every act of apparent loyalty, all of it was part of maintaining the deception until they were ready to execute their betrayal at the optimal moment for their interests. Machiavelli understood that most strategic moves happen in shadow. The prince who seems friendly today is already planning your removal if you become inconvenient. The ally who pledges loyalty is already calculating what it would take for them to switch sides. The partner who seems committed is already keeping options open. This isn't paranoia. This is reality. Most people maintain multiple strategies simultaneously. They're loyal to you while also preparing for a future where betraying you serves them better. Your unconditional loyalty means you never prepare for betrayal. Their conditional loyalty means they're always prepared to betray if circumstances shift. Watch for the signs you ignored in retrospect. The small boundary violations that you forgave. The times they tested whether you'd enforce consequences. The ways they gradually isolated you from other support systems. The occasions where they gathered information about your vulnerabilities. These weren't random events. These were preparation. They were testing the terrain, gathering intelligence, and positioning pieces for a betrayal they'd already decided might become necessary. Your loyalty made you blind to preparation that was happening right in front of you. The only loyalty that protects you is self-loyalty. The only person who will be there for you in every situation, who will never betray you if you treat them right, who will always prioritize your interests, is you. Every other loyalty is conditional, circumstantial, and potentially temporary. Your loyalty to yourself is the only loyalty that's guaranteed. But most loyal people have inverted this. They're extremely loyal to everyone else, and barely loyal to themselves. Self-loyalty means you prioritize your well-being even when it disappoints others. It means you enforce boundaries even when it risks relationships. It means you leave situations that harm you even when you care about the people in those situations. It means you stop making excuses for people who repeatedly demonstrate they don't respect your loyalty. It means you value your own peace, your own growth, your own protection more than you value being seen as a loyal person by others. Machiavelli's ultimate lesson wasn't about how to betray others. It was about how to avoid being betrayed by others. And the key to avoiding betrayal is understanding that your primary obligation is to your own interests, not in a selfish, destructive way, in a self-protective, strategic way. When you're loyal to yourself first, you can be strategically loyal to others from a position of strength. When you're loyal to others first, you become loyal to yourself last, and that's when you become vulnerable to every betrayer who recognizes your pattern. So what do you do with this information? How do you transform from someone whose loyalty makes them a target to someone whose strategic loyalty makes them powerful? First, understand that I'm not telling you to become a betrayer. I'm telling you to stop being so easy to betray. There's a massive difference. Strategic loyalty doesn't mean betraying others. It means making your loyalty valuable by making it conditional on reciprocal respect. Start here. Audit your relationships, not with suspicion, but with honesty. Which relationships are mutual and which are one-sided? Where are you giving loyalty that isn't being returned? Who takes advantage of your good nature? Who treats your loyalty as an unlimited resource they can exploit? These are the relationships that need boundaries immediately. Not necessarily endings, but clear boundaries about what you will and won't accept moving forward. Next, make your loyalty scarce and valuable. Stop being loyal to everyone immediately. Make people earn your loyalty through demonstrated trustworthiness over time. Start with small trust exchanges. See if they reciprocate. Gradually increase investment based on their consistent demonstration of respect for you. This isn't being suspicious. This is being intelligent about where you invest your limited emotional resources. Learn to enforce consequences without drama. When someone violates a boundary, the consequence happens, not as punishment, but as natural result. They don't respect your time, you become less available to them. They don't reciprocate your support, you stop supporting them. They betray a small trust, they don't get access to bigger trusts. Simple, clean, effective. No explanations needed. No justifications required. The consequence teaches the lesson your words never could. Develop the ability to walk away. This is the hardest skill for loyal people to learn, but it's the most important. When a relationship becomes consistently harmful, when someone repeatedly demonstrates they don't value your loyalty, when the cost of staying exceeds the benefit, you need to be capable of leaving. Not as a threat, not as manipulation, as a genuine option you're willing to execute. People respect boundaries backed by real consequences. The ultimate consequence is your absence. If you can't deliver that consequence, you have no real boundaries. Finally, become loyal to your own growth, peace, and well-being above loyalty to relationships that harm you. This doesn't make you selfish. This makes you strategic. When you're solid in your self-loyalty, you can engage in relationships from abundance instead of need. You can be generous without being exploited. You can be trusting without being naive. You can be loyal without being a victim. But this requires putting your own well-being first, which is exactly what loyal people struggle with most. 500 years ago, Machiavelli tried to warn people about this. He documented how loyalty without strategy leads to destruction. He showed that the most successful people aren't the most loyal, they're the most strategic about their loyalty. He explained that trust without wisdom creates vulnerability that others exploit. But people ignored him. They called him evil, cynical, immoral. They rejected his observations because those observations were uncomfortable. And those people continued being betrayed while proudly claiming moral superiority. You have a choice right now. You can reject everything you've heard, maintain your unconditional loyalty to people who don't reciprocate it, and continue being betrayed while telling yourself at least you're a good person. Or you can accept these uncomfortable truths and transform your loyalty from a weakness others exploit into a strength you control. You can stop being the person everyone uses and become the person everyone respects. You can maintain your values while protecting yourself from those who would take advantage of those values. The world needs good people, but good people who get constantly betrayed and destroyed accomplish nothing. Good people who are strategic about their goodness change the world. Strong people who protect themselves can protect others. Weak people who sacrifice themselves can save no one. Your loyalty is beautiful, but only if you're still standing. If your loyalty destroys you, it destroys everything good you could have done with your life. Machiavelli's final lesson is this: the most moral thing you can do is survive, because only survivors get to make a positive difference. Only people who protect themselves can protect others. Only those who are strategic about their loyalty can maintain relationships that actually matter. Your unlimited loyalty to everyone accomplishes nothing except making you an easy target. Your strategic loyalty to people who prove they deserve it creates relationships that can withstand anything. Look at your relationships honestly. Identify where you're being exploited in the name of loyalty. Set one boundary today. Just one. With one person who's been taking advantage of your good nature. Don't explain it. Don't justify it. Don't apologize for it. Just enforce it. Watch what happens. You'll learn immediately whether that person respects you or just uses you. If they respect your boundary, the relationship can become healthier. If they fight your boundary, you've just discovered they were never loyal to you. They were loyal to exploiting you. Your loyalty is not your weakness. Your loyalty without boundaries is your weakness. Your loyalty without reciprocity is your weakness. Your loyalty to people who betray you repeatedly is your weakness. But your strategic loyalty to people who prove they deserve it, that's your power. That's how you build a life surrounded by people who value you, respect you, and stay loyal to you because you've shown them that your loyalty is precious and conditional on mutual respect. Stop being betrayed. The world doesn't reward good people. It rewards strong people who are good strategically. Be that person. Your future self will thank you. If this video opened your eyes to patterns you've been ignoring, drop this in the comments. I choose strategic loyalty. If you know someone who needs to hear this message, share it with them, and subscribe for more truth about human nature, power dynamics, and protecting yourself in a world that doesn't value your goodness. This is just the beginning of your transformation from someone who gets used to someone who gets respected.